your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say, I dabbled in stand-up or something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hey, I'm here. What's up, boys and girls? It's the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening right now on iTunes, please leave a 5-star review. I got a bunch of shows coming up. I love doing stand-up, and I can't wait to do it in a city near you. Check out my calendar this month, in a couple of weeks. I'll be headlining the Bridgeport Stress Factory on Thursday, October 20th. Then we got the Comedians of the Compound show at the Orlando Improv. That's Thursday, October 27th. After that, we will have the Content House 48-hour live stream. So that'll be fun to watch. Then I'm doing a weekend in Long Island, Friday, November 4th and Saturday, November 5th at the Brokerage Comedy Club in Belmore, Long Island. Then we got the Compound Media Censored TV show on Thursday, November 10th in New York City. Venue to be announced the day of, because we don't want to be canceled. Then I'm headlining in New Brunswick, New Jersey at the Stress Factory out there in New Brunswick. Then doing a weekend out in California, Friday, February 24th and Saturday, February 25th. I'm doing a weekend in San Diego at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Excited to get back to California. Haven't been since the pandemic. Gonna be fun. I'm gonna do a quick shout out to Copy My Crypto. I'm gonna freestyle this one a little bit. Check out Copy My Crypto. I know it's like, what is going on? Are we in a recession? Are we not? I think we are. The truth is that we are. And that you can actually make money with crypto during this recession here. And what's so great about Copy My Crypto is like, you really just don't have to know anything about it. Like me, I don't know a thing about it. All I want to do is just copy someone who does. And that's exactly what Copy My Crypto is. You can go to James McMahon's YouTube channel and check it out. He'll basically, he told his subscribers to buy the same 26 coins that he did. And if you had put like $100 into each of them, you'd have like, it's over 100K right now. It's just crazy the returns he's been able to get off of the coins that he has picked. And it's great. You don't have to learn about it. You don't have to take a class. You just copy what James does. So if you want to join the over 2,800 people who copy James McMahon's crypto, go to copymycrypto.com. Check it out for yourself. And yeah, thanks to Copy My Crypto. They are our Content House sponsor. So big shout out to them. Check it out. And make yourself some money. I like that little ditty. Copy my crypto. All right. I don't know how to turn the song off. Okay, I'm just going to do that. Okay, guys. Get it away. I'm so excited to have this guy on the podcast today. I might as well just throw up my little background. Why not? He is a comedian from England. He's an author. His latest book is called Surrounded by Morons. He's got a kick-ass YouTube channel that you better subscribe to. If you don't, by the end of this show, I'm going to have a word with you. Welcome, Carl Vernon to the show.
Oh, I was
Hello.
enjoying that little ditty there, Chrissy. I was hoping
It
you were
was
going
a
to do
good ditty.
that. I like it. Do you get many people from across the pond?
No, really not many. And I don't know why. I've had a couple on. Let's just do the whole show to this song.
I'm thinking we can maybe do a little rap or something. Maybe I could
Okay.
do like an English one. You know,
wanna
make
do
it
the
really,
beat?
really
Do the
crap.
words. I'm here
Yeah.
with Carl Vernon. And he'll make sure
Chrissy.
you're hurting, especially if you are a woman. I can't rhyme. Wow. I would be the worst
I
rapper.
thought Americans were meant to be good at this stuff.
I hate violence. I don't like large groups of people, so I would be terrible in a gang. And yeah, I don't.
How are you with
I'm
guns?
pretty non-confrontational. I would be the worst rapper. Yeah.
What do you like with guns?
I'm okay. I'm a decent shot. I could be more practiced, but I definitely have been shooting a bunch of times. So
They're all banned over here.
all of them.
We don't get a look in with the guns. No,
Oh,
it's just all the stabbings here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to have
they're the
like
things, yeah.
a shank or something. You have to have like. Can you have knives?
You've instantly discovered my collection of shanks. This is what it's all about, isn't it? Huh?
Are you a shank
collection of
enthusiast?
different shapes, you know, for different occasions.
You're a shanker.
A shanker, indeed. Yeah, need to be careful how you say that.
Because isn't it a British kind of slur to call someone a wanker?
That's why I said you need to be a little bit careful how you say that. Yeah, very much. Do you say that in America as well? Do you call people wankers in America?
No, I'm just pulling it out for you. Because wanker, isn't it just simply a person who jerks off, which is most people?
It's a masturbating person, indeed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I mean, you could be so much worse, other than a masturbating person.
No, but it's like in England, if you call somebody a wanker, it's a bad term because you're almost implying like they're a chronic.
Okay, they can't stop.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like.
But a lot of people are chronic masturbators.
Well, do you know what? I saw an article today, Chrissy. I was shocked by this. Right, over 7 million people I think it's just in England. It might be in Britain actually. 60 odd million people. 7 million people masturbate at work.
What?
During working hours.
I tried to masturbate once at work. One of my jobs, I've had so many jobs, Carl, like at least 15-day jobs, probably more. But I was working at NYU once and I hated my boss so much. And I was like, let me see if I could. And I couldn't. Yeah.
Didn't work.
I didn't think to bring in like a machine or anything. That would have been bad. I mean, I probably would have been able to if I had brought a vibrator in. But like, if you're at the point where you're bringing vibrators into work, like you can't be that serious about your job.
What's the connection with it being a bad boss? Were you just gonna like do it and then like touch him on the shoulder or something like that?
It was a woman boss. I found that like the women I've worked for have been like pretty much worse than the guys I've worked for. Just like she was very angry and like very cunty. And I don't think I don't know. She's just like a miserable person. And a lot of times like bosses that are miserable people, they just take it out on whoever their assistant is, which is usually me.
I'm just reading the comments here as they come up.
Oh.
This is this great like thing that we got up here. Right? I can see some of the comments. So you know, like someone's mentioned also the term bender. Have you heard bender?
Bender? That's like when you drink a lot?
No, do you know what? I'm impressed by this actually. I like this. It actually is. It is, but there's a derogatory term as well if you call somebody a bender. So going on a bender is, like you say, is drinking a larger amount of alcohol on a night out, but also it's a term for a gay person.
Is a bender because they're bending over.
Right.
But straight people bend over too.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I didn't invent this stuff, Chrissy. Yeah, I'm just, I've just got the accent. Shall I put on a bit of that accent as well that all Americans think English people have got? It goes a little bit like that, doesn't it? Hello, I'm English.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. All right.
hello,
Here we
hello.
go. Get
You're
the
a
train.
bender, mate. You're a wanker.
You're a wanker and a bender.
So that's a bit of Cockney. Have you heard the term Cockney?
That's a derogatory term for gay people. Gay people.
What, Cockney?
A cockney? No.
No. This is I'll tell you what, if there's English people watching this, they're not going to be happy with that. No, a Cockney is a person from London or in that sort of region. That's what they're called, is a Cockney. But I think if you want to be okay with insulting somebody, just stick with wanker, Chrissy.
Okay, wanker it is.
Yeah. I think over here, I think our term, if we want to put somebody down, is to just associate anything with Biden.
You know, I kind of love that all the way over there in England, like you guys keep such close tabs on our retarded president. Like, what is so funny? Like, what do you enjoy so much about him?
Are you joking? I mean, it's. I mean, over here is bad enough, and pretty much everywhere else. But Biden is the gift that keeps on giving, Chrissy.
He really is.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, what is going on? I mean, this is a guy that is asking for dead people in crowds.
Yeah. He's just doing a shout out to his homies. Like, most of his friends are probably dead.
And the drinks.
And honestly, most of his voters too. So
he's looking around for things on the floor that ain't there. Yeah, it's just comedy gold. It's comedy gold, and it's content gold. And pretty much you can guarantee on a daily basis, if Biden ain't doing something, then Kamala is. Did I pronounce that right? Is it Kamala?
There's no wrong way to say it. I think it's Kamala, but I feel like
Kamala.
I feel like pronouncing her name right is like giving her a level of respect she doesn't really deserve. So,
good point.
Kamala. Yeah, I don't know. She sucks.
So if it's not Biden, then it's come on, let's go with Kamala. Let's go with that.
Kamala. I feel like I guess there is something where it might be easier to like poke fun at the people in charge, not of your own country, because I always have been like kind of also weirdly fascinated with like the British royals. Like, I don't understand how they work, and I was like really kind of fascinated by the last lady, Queen Elizabeth, I guess, how she has always looked 95 years old to me. Like, I feel like she's been 95 for
a very long time,
40 years. Yeah.
Yeah, she's always kind of looked like what she looks like on the banknotes and the stamps. Yeah. So, you know, even younger, I think she, you know.
So does she get to stay on the money, or do they remake all the money with a new king or queen?
So it's being touted that the new notes, if the cash stays, that is, Chrissy, there's got to be a big solution coming in soon.
Oh, because
it's got to be about the digital currency,
One world currency.
One world currency. Was it CBDC, central bank digital currencies, right? Where they're pretty much going to know exactly what you're doing at every moment of every freaking day. But anyway, yeah, it's being touted. 2024 is when Charlie's going to start coming on the notes. With the big ears and everything, right? So
can you still use the old Elizabeth notes, or I'm sure there's people who save them for each person?
Yeah, you'll still be able to use it until, of course, they eradicate it all, and they want to know exactly what you're doing.
You really think that's going to happen in where you live?
I think the plan is that it's going to happen everywhere. You know, this is a worldwide thing, isn't it? They want to know what time you're shitting. They want to know what you're saying. They want to know the whole shebang. Because if you say something wrong or you do something wrong, then it's pretty easy to cut your ass off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So it would be terrible for people like us. I mean, we're
banished.
We'd be shut down in a matter of hours.
We're finished. We're 100% done. We're done, Chrissy. And you know, that's you know, this. People are just like, you know, they're strolling into this stuff, and it's like, you know, they're like, oh, these notes in my pocket are so inconvenient, you know, or the plastic that I have to buy things with is just so inconvenient now. You know, it has to go all digital and it has to be on the phone, and they're strolling into this madness. And I don't think a lot of people know it.
To carry papers in a wallet.
It's we're not just strolling into this. We're running into it, and it's it's hard to make any lightheartedness about the idea of literally being able to be switched off. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about here, Chrissy. The ability with a central bank digital currency, which is the plan for everywhere. I mean, it's coming into India. You guys are talking about it. It's been trialed where you are in the US. It's coming everywhere. And as soon as it comes in, Chrissy, they're going to go like that. Beep. Who's this Chrissy? What's she saying? Beep, beep, beep is coming off. Yeah.
Wake up. She's getting into another fight with Chrissy Teigen. Oh, she didn't like the Bros movie. Get her out of here.
This is it. And of course, combine all that sort of stuff with like these crazy, the hate crime bills and stuff like that. It's no coincidence, is it, Chrissy, that all this type of stuff it's under different names, and it's a little bit different depending on what country you're in, but it's pretty much all the same principle. Like here, they've called it the online crimes bill or the online hate crimes bill, police bill, or something like that. Basically, the principle is that if somebody gets offended, then, and again, I read this, Ireland next door, if you're reported for something like bigotry, you can get up to 5 years in prison.
Whoa.
In Ireland.
In Ireland. Right, because isn't that where Dankula lives? Or is he in Scotland?
He's Scottish, yeah. I believe he's Scottish. But they're crazy. They've got a similar thing. We're getting a similar thing. And it's like it's literally getting to a point where jokes, are you going to be able to joke about anything? It's like they want this freaking sterile, drone-like experience. Everybody in a queue, kind of like, did you joke, boy? No, I didn't. Please, don't put me back in the camp. Yeah. So it's very much going in that sort of direction. But
because a joke and a laugh is a way to very quickly rally people around a shared truth. It's communication. It's like it's the quickest way to know if someone has a shared point of view or shared value.
It is, and I've tried many different avenues. I've done a bit of the self-help. I've done a bit of the old motivational, and what's always sort of filtered to the top for me is comedy. Comedy is it's like this last line of defense for this type of stuff. And I think it's like, different ways to skin a cat. But when it comes to tackling this sort of stuff, comedy, is going to be one of these things that has to stay. It has to stay there. Because as soon as that sort of stuff starts to come into play where you can't even joke about something, I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's already that way now, but it's just something that I think I like fighting against. And there's no real, other than, you have to be careful to not get banned off a social media platform. You can't, it's got to be funnier than it is it has to be not hateful at all. It has to be funny, and you got to be clever with your words, right? Or else you don't want to get taken down for hate speech. But I enjoy still being able to fight against that, or, kind of push the envelope a little bit whenever I can.
What do you like for swearing?
What do I like to swear in?
What do you like for swearing? I've noticed, speaking to a number of Americans now, I tend to find that you're either really for it or against it. What do you like?
Yeah, I will occasionally find a clever workaround. If you, especially on Twitter, where you can't exactly call people cunts. I find if you use the umlaut over the U.
I love that. Hey, listen, Chrissy, I love the way you just came straight in with the proper one.
That's the proper one.
Oh,
you gotta do umlaut, or you gotta do, hold on to the whatever letter it is, and you can change it slightly with a different accent mark, or calling someone something completely that will confuse them, like a cod basket, or like a wanker, or
or you sound
Whenever-
vaccinated.
Yeah, oh, that's my favorite. Sometimes people sound vaccinated and boosted.
Well, one of my favorite, I just thought about this. I tweeted it today myself. You sound like a part-time fact checker.
I do? Oh, no.
No, that's the insult. That's the insult. I should have been more clear. Sorry, Chrissy. So
I was
an
reading
insult might be you sound vaccinated.
I'm reading this comment from Binary. This is a born American saying that she has to be careful about what she says. And by careful, I mean actually clever. Like you have to get a joke across being clever. And that's basically how most jokes work, is by being clever. It's like you're gonna I mean, not like I would straight up just go online and say something hateful, but like, let's say if you do have a hilarious racist joke, it's like you got to find your workaround for it. And it's like everyone has to be careful. It's just how you work around it and how you continue to push, knowing is the consequence of being deplatformed, you know what I mean, worth whatever.
Isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that we're having to do that in the first place? That it's even got that far, that we're having to contemplate changing a letter or doing this or doing that, make sure you don't get banned type stuff, right? It's truly pathetic that it's even got to this stage as much as it has. And there's such a common sense thing about being offended and what offends you and what doesn't offend you, and this is why we're completely fucked, because there's such a common sense thing about it. It's never going to be solved. It's always going to be about emotions and how offended you are, and you're a bigot. But every now and again, I can't help myself. I do want to go onto social media. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you've ever heard of a program that we've got here called This Morning.
No.
I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't. If you don't live here, then don't bother. But basically, they've got a couple of presenters there. And when the last few years were proper kicking off, when it was Rona fanatical, when it was lockdown, all the rest of it, these guys were like proper, pimping it out. This is what you must be doing, and appealing to all the housewives and what have you about what they should do. And when they got to come back into the studio, this is a clip that I share quite frequently. If you actually saw this, Chrissy, it would blow your mind. When they got back into the studio, they hugged each other through plastic screens. Right? So I want you to picture this, right? I've regularly shared this clip, and I'm going to be doing it as part of my live shows as well. They literally had a plastic screen. I know you had similar crazy things going on where you are. Plastic screen, putting their arms through this plastic. And the other person was doing it as well, and they were hugging through the plastic.
Like they're both radioactive or something.
Right. Everyone's contaminated. Now, the point I'm making here is every now and again, you want to go onto social media and you just want to say, you bunch of cunts, without any restrictions. And sometimes I just find myself doing that. I'm not going to put any pretendy letters. I'm not going to try and disguise it. You're just a cunt. Right. And you just, and also as part of that as well, Chris, self-censorship. This is what we're doing now, just changing a letter or changing the way that we say something. And listen, I do it myself as well, because like you say, you got to play the game within reason. But it's quite clever, because it's like this progressive sort of self-censorship that everybody's under now. It's like, I change a letter, or I don't say certain things. And we're finding that is very much progressing into something that we don't want to go there. This dystopian freaking nightmare.
The gulags. Comic gulags.
Have you had a Twitter purge?
Yeah, several, but recently, last couple days, I lost like 2,000 something.
I did as well. Pretty much exactly that. To about 2,000, I had a purge, and of course, there's all this talk of must complete in the buyout now as well, right?
Yeah, I heard somebody said like, oh, well, he heard someone else was gonna buy it and they were gonna like do the wrong thing with it. I don't know. I haven't looked into it much.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I spent a long time off Twitter for the exact reason I don't use TikTok at the moment. I know you mentioned it earlier as well. Should we talk about TikTok? It's mental, isn't it? What do you think of TikTok?
It's designed. It's warfare. I think. I think it's a way to like ruin our attention span. I think it's a way to distract the minds of the people who should be working on being as productive as they possibly can in the best years of their life. I think
have you heard about the difference between the Chinese version and the West version?
I've heard that the Chinese version encourages kind of like positive behaviors and more intellectual, I guess, goals in mind, you know, rather than I guess like just twerking. And I don't know. I don't even know what's on TikTok anymore other than like libs of TikTok, basically.
Well, I share a lot of stuff about stupidity and craziness, you know, Clown Planet type stuff, huh? And naturally, you know, a lot of that sort of stuff comes from TikTok. But you're absolutely right. The Chinese version, their algorithm, because it is the algorithm's coming to get you. Their algorithm in China is they're sharing achievements. They're recording themselves at work. They're like, you know, look, what great job I'm doing here, and that's promoted, and that's how the algorithms are spreading. The TikTok here, as you pointed out, it's sort of, you know, twerking while you're playing a flute type stuff, right? And it's like, you know, it's nothing short of mental. You've got these young people, like the missus will be doing a bit of research, you know, getting some content and stuff like that. And I'm looking at it in the corner of my eye, like, and it'll go through like 4 or 5 videos. And by the fourth or fifth video that I'm watching this stuff, I'm like a bit sick comes up in my throat. I'm just like, what the frick is this stuff? It's nothing short of mental. You've got police, you've got nurses, you've got even politicians going on there doing all these silly type dances. You know, you can see there's a lot. Some of them have practiced hard. You know, really busy times. You know, deadliest pandemic of all time. Shouldn't you be by the hospital bed rather than doing that dancy routine? You know, stuff like that.
The coordination of our first responders, that's all that matters.
Amazing stuff. So you've got place, you've got nurses, you've got politicians on this stuff, and they're miming to music. I literally just shared something on YouTube today. One of my other favorites from your side of the pond is Lori Lightfoot. I do.
Oh God,
I do like Laurie, Chrissie.
She looks like she crawled out of the garbage. She's like an alien made of garbage.
I shit you not, right? I shit you not. I went to the gym the other day, and I had to double take like this. There's a woman in the car park looked exactly like her, like same haircut, same everything. Looked exactly, and I thought there could only be one Laurie on this entire planet. You know, you watch Beetlejuice and stuff like that. You think, okay, maybe there's 2.
Yeah.
But, you know, look, you're thinking there's only going to be one type of Laurie. No, I saw this woman. My instant thought was, fucking unlucky bitch. But I do like Laurie as well, Chrissie. I do like her. But I shared a video today.
Oh, yeah. Here's here's what's good. Meanwhile, in China. I don't even think most of our adults can do this.
Can I tell you what they're not doing, Chrissie? They're not watching drag.
Watching drag shows.
Yeah. Oh, right. That is actually my Twitter. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
They're not watching drag. They're not watching drag, right? I mean, and there's been a couple of the similar clips shared over the last few days, like what these kids are doing. Like literally, some of these younger kids are firing rockets. You know, not real ones, but you know, you can tell, like, you know, they're being trained. So they're firing rockets. You know, putting their fingers on their ears as they're firing these rockets. They're doing these ball coordination type things. We're gonna lose. We're gonna fucking lose, Chrissy. We're gonna lose this shit. We're gonna lose it. What are our kids doing? Well, not that, right? Not that. And I don't know, man. It's scary shit. It's scary shit, you know. And it's happened quite quickly as well, like a full permeation and indoctrination.
Yeah. When did you start to notice things getting pretty crazy, like where you are society wise?
The actual visual representation, Chrissy, was what I affectionately refer to as the naps. Do you know what I'm referring to? Again, it's a bit of an English type of thing, if you like. But naps, what do you reckon?
Naps?
Was in sleep. What do you think naps are? What do you think naps are?
You're taking a nap?
Right. Okay. So we also shorten that for nappies.
Okay.
And nappies over here are diapers for you, right? So you say diapers. So face diapers.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Only that recent. Okay. Only 2 years ago.
So naps on the face was a real wake up call for me in regards to that just mass representation of. I mean, I don't know how what you guys are like there at the moment. Do you still get a proportion of people wearing them?
It depends where you go. I was just in New Orleans and there weren't that many, but there are still a fair amount in New York City who do. But overall it's less than it's ever been. So
What percentage would you say?
oh, in New York it's probably still like a good maybe 40%.
That's bad, isn't it? But New York, I understand that because you guys are mental.
Well, everyone who was like smart enough to do better to know that like that we got to get the fuck out of living in New York City, like they've moved out already. So everyone who's left are people who can't move out of New York City or people who I don't know are compliant. Mostly people who can't move out of the city for either work or family reasons. Like
Do you use the tube quite a bit?
tube?
Is that the right term? What's the underground?
Oh,
Train.
the subway.
Subway, sorry,
Like
subway.
once a week, if that. So not
So
that
once a week is probably enough for you to have seen a range of penises.
Oh yeah, all colors, very well represented. It's like the United Colors of Benetton, but in dicks. Yeah, but I'm lucky. Like I used to be on it every single day for all hours of the day and night because I was still working my full-time job and would then do comedy like just about every night, like all over Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, like literally wherever. Would be constantly taking it because you're trying to not spend a lot of money on cabs. So like I generally didn't really feel unsafe and I've only maybe seen like a handful, no pun intended, of dicks like my whole time riding the subway. I think I just got either got lucky or I just know how to conduct myself in a way that doesn't really like get that kind of attention.
Did you say a handful of dicks?
Yes.
and you count that as lucky?
All of them together could fit in one hand. Yeah. They weren't big.
Like a bunch of sausages.
Yeah, they weren't that big. Yeah, I think that's why they were out.
Yeah. But I suppose what my point is, you're actually making a point that, hey, look, it was only a handful of dicks. I'm quite lucky. It's like you shouldn't be seeing any dicks. You know what I'm saying? Even the mayor, Eric Adams,
the mayor, yeah,
even he came out like earlier in the year to say like this shit. Yeah, I'm not traveling. I'm not traveling on this shit because it ain't safe. Here we go.
Oh my god, this is in Union Square. It's hilarious until like he comes near you. You know, I used to say all the time, I miss the old New York, and now that it's back, I wish I hadn't said it. His shoes are off. He's literally he's breakdancing. Disco is here again. Imagine just like rubbing your taint on the ground.
Oh, damn, nigga.
What do you think you have to be on that would make you want to do this? Like bath salts? Is that what we're looking at? It's great. And then he's back on the train.
He's back on.
It's pretty funny.
He's back on, and they're off.
Oh my god! Luckily, you can't really see anything. Get it off.
You know, I know that there's there's problems and mental health issues and stuff like that, but so much of that again is it equates to how shit things are run too, huh? How bad a job this is being filtered down. Like I say, even the mayor Eric Adams said that, listen, I'm not riding on that underground shit. I'm not doing that subway.
No, he doesn't take the subway. No,
he's like, that ain't safe. That shit ain't safe. And
his assistant was mugged, like straight up.
It's mental. What's the governor called? Is it Christie?
Kathy Hochul.
Kathy, that's it.
Over for Cuomo.
So Kathy came in, and I saw a clip recently. She's saying that she's going to be putting cameras pretty much on everyone, like everywhere.
Every subway.
Yes. Yeah, literally, like tens of thousands of them are coming. Apparently, now the issue that we got, and this is a prime example, like that dude that you just shared there. The issue that we've got, and the reason why so much things like digital currencies and they were talking about things like the green pass, jab passports. You've got to have the jab to be able to go do this and have the jab to go do that. Have a jab in that eyeball to go and be able to watch the football, that eyeball to go grocery shopping. It's all being sold under the guise of safety, isn't it? It's like you got to do this. You've
got to trade your freedoms for safety, for the promise of safety.
Do this. It's for there's another set of people that used to say that as well, for your safety, right? The Nazis, right? They used to say that for your safety was a big deal. And this is how things are really being transported in. It's always for your safety. There's a camera there because, well, it's for your safety. Digital currency is there because it's for your safety.
Oh, really? It's like because all the surveillance and crime has not gone down, so nobody is more safe. So that can't be it.
Of course, it's not about you. You really think that these people give a shite whether you not only see one handful of cocks, you see two handfuls of dicks. They don't care. They don't care how many handfuls of dicks you see, Chrissy. They don't care about that. They're just bothered about being able to control. And that's what safety is all about, isn't it? For your safety is really about the control side of things. It's about controlling every movement. It's that social credit system type thing coming in. This type of model that is already in places like China. It's the model for everywhere else. And, London, I think I saw the other day that London has got the most cameras per sort of square mile, per square foot, whatever it was, in the world.
And each of them adds 10 pounds.
You see what I mean? You see where this is going, right?
Can they just filter us? Can they just do a little airbrush? Ugh.
Well, let's talk about filters, actually, Chrissy. Filters are mental.
Yeah, they are.
I'm mentioning that term a lot, mental and crazy, but let's go back to like TikTok. I'm glad I'm not in things like the dating scene because I don't think I could handle it. I genuinely don't. I mean, these filters, you got these people on, particularly on social media.
Can men tell when a woman uses a lot of filters? Or I guess
they fucking can when they meet them.
Yeah, right. You don't know until you meet them.
Right. Listen, look, it's whatever makes you feel better. The issue is that it's all of this social coercion and pressure, right? And I get why particularly females do this. It is mostly a female thing.
It's a competitive, you feel like you need to do this in order to compete.
Well, look at it. Look at Instagram. If you're not banging on like 8 different filters, then you look out of place on things like Instagram. You look out of place. It's like, oh, she actually looks her age. Type. It's like, I mean, come on, these filters. They need to. This is why social media in general is just breeding such mental health issues.
Well, yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. And like someone said in the chat earlier, they're really trying to condition us to chase dopamine, to have low attention spans, to introduce a whole lot of sexual confusion to kids. So then they have to spend their freaking 20s, 30s working that out. All the while, how many years have they wasted just trying to recover from trauma and getting it together?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about a number of things. Profit is definitely way up there. You're going to make so much more money out of somebody who's going to go out and run out and buy hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of beauty products, to get where you're meant to be. It's all money, it's all profit, but then the underlying core of that. And actually, over the years, and writing the books as well, Chrissie, the fundamental principle, one of the golden nuggets, if you like, that I've discovered, and if you really start to get your head around it, it literally can change your life. And it's how much of your life and your thoughts and your actions are dominated by what other people think.
Oh,
see, we are indoctrinated to ignore that. See, when we're born, we come into this matrix system, whatever you want to call it, and it's all designed in a certain way, and part of that design is to just keep us suppressed and keep us worrying about what other people are thinking. And innate within that is a need for approval from other people. That is something innate in us all, and it's that is weaponized. It's weaponized for profit, but mostly weaponized for control. Profit is a big deal, but it's the control side. That's why you tend to find every day, everything that you do or don't do is governed by social coercion. What other people are thinking? What are other people doing? What are other people thinking? What do I need to buy? How do I need to look? What do I need to own? What car have I got? Where do I live? What job do I do? All of it. Keeping up with the Joneses, right?
I'm happy that I never felt that in terms of like clothes, purses. And I don't know if that has to do with like how you're raised or who you're friends with or just not having enough money for that shit. But like, I don't know. I'm happy to not feel like I have to drop a lot of money on name brand anything. Like I've never driven a new car, and that's totally fine. Like as long as it gets me to a place. I don't know.
See, I don't, I totally accept the system of you want to own something, you want to own something nice, you want to drive a nice car, you want nice clothes, you want to have a nice house. Work for it, go for it. But then it's the reasoning behind it. What is it that is the motivating factor in that? And typically for most people, it's what other people are thinking, and that's why they're always on that jump to the next happiness fix. What's the next thing that's going to make me happy? Because it doesn't ever quench that thirst, because you're always looking for something else, because you're always driven by the wrong reasons. You'll buy that car and it'll be like, yeah, you're driving
because you think you'll feel a way when you buy the thing. It's like you're chasing a feeling, and objects can't give you feeling. Achievement does. I think your commitments give you feeling. How much you love gives you what you're looking for.
It does give you a feeling, but it's like a honeymoon period, isn't it?
It's fleeting. Yeah,
it's fleeting. It's like, you buy the car and you like, playing the tunes and you're driving down there, yeah,
and then you're like, oh, but then you're like, what else do I need? What else could I upgrade?
And then, like, if it's a nice sports car and other people are struggling, for example, you're driving down the road and other people are just like,
windows up.
Lock the door. Yeah, and then you start thinking, hang on a minute, maybe actually, driving this Lamborghini down the neighborhood, maybe this ain't so great.
But then now you're also like, yes, it's great, and especially if you're like a car person. Like my dad's a car person, worked super hard his whole life, finally got himself like a pretty nice car and like but now he sounds like such a hypocrite because he gave me this speech like, oh, people overconsume, people always have to have the latest model thing. I'm like, look what car we're in right now. I'm like, why don't you buy an electric car, Dad? He's like, fuck you.
Do you know what? I'm just getting. Do you know why? Because I do a bit of this. I've just started to use what you use here as well. Actually, I'm looking at some of the comments. One made me laugh. This guy's a Marxist.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, definitely ain't. I definitely ain't. No, I would have hoped that actually came across quite clearly.
No,
Actually,
no,
I
obviously
do
you're not.
believe in regards to a system, in regards to capitalism, I believe that supersedes any other when it comes to, you know, I've come from a very poor working class background, worked for everything. And I believe in that. And I believe in that system. What I don't believe in is the complete indoctrination behind it all. You know, the governing body above it all that's controlling the narrative, controlling the way that things are done, because it's always going to be under that social coercion. I don't know if you noticed, like, last couple of years in the deadliest pandemic that ever was.
So deadly.
Yeah. Within that, how and again, this was a worldwide thing because it will be, because this is how people are controlled. How do you get people who are comfortable walking in that direction when everybody else is walking in this direction? How do you get them trying to follow?
Fear.
Yes, of course it is. It's fear. It's like, oh, why is everyone walking in that direction? Even when you know it's freaking wrong, it's like, why is everyone doing it? And then it's this modern day version, cancel culture, which is just basically burning people at the stake, like it was. So then you've got all this kind of groupthink and cancel culture and people piling on top of you about what you should be doing, what you should be thinking. And you know what? If you haven't got some strength behind that belief that, you know what, I can continue walking in that direction and feel confident about that, then it will very easily turn you, even if it means stepping off a freaking cliff as well, which, you know, is happening to a lot of people. And that's where really, you know, the book came about, Surrounded by Morons.
Oh yes, I'm going to show your website right here where people can go. You have multiple books. You have Surrounded by Morons. 80% of people are morons. What are you going to do about it? Is that a scientific fact?
No,
Just in your own dealings.
no, but even if it was, would you believe it? I mean, you know, in regards to science nowadays, right?
I guess so.
I'm an expert. I'm a scientist. Yeah, that's
I
pretty
think I
much
would believe
anybody.
definitely 60% of people.
So it's an observation, right? I'll tell you where it came from. Have you heard of something called the 80-20 rule? Or
Yes.
the Pareto principle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I've throughout the years, you know, I've done quite a bit of research with other books and stuff like that on that principle, and it is surprisingly accurate for many things. And what I noticed, particularly over the last couple of years, is that the Pareto principle really did tend to correlate with that too. The 80% of people.
You mean like who got jabbed?
That's a good gauge.
I don't know. I think more than 20% of people said no.
I used to think that, and now I'm not so sure. See, I like maybe even just a year ago, Chrissy, I thought to myself, it's got to be about 50-50.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
It's not. It's not. It's not. Think about it. But this is where maybe the insulation comes from the people that we hang around with, perhaps.
True.
Maybe you're hanging around with
I only associate with purebloods. Sure. We have a gang symbol and everything.
Gang symbol and everything, huh?
PB.
Have you got pure blood shanks?
PB. Wait a second.
Whoa. Here we go.
I don't know.
Whoa. Have you got the branded shank?
I do. I need to get a branded shank. I've been putting it off, but I just really can't anymore.
So you're within reason. You're doing the kind of right thing because you're surrounding yourself with people that you actually want to be around. The issue with that, of course, is that you can't always do that, because if you want to fit into this matrix and this system, then it don't work like that. And within life, even if it is just getting on the subway, for example, you are going to be surrounded by a number of different people. Going to the grocery store, you're going to be surrounded by a different number of people. I don't think we're ever going to really know what the stats are. The comment that you just brought up there is and it has been quoted, about 25% here in England are unjabbed. I don't think you're ever going to really know the truth. Of course, we're never going to really know the truth.
Right, because you don't know how many people have fakes. And also, of course, there's no what they really wanted was a comprehensive database for everybody, but they weren't they weren't doing that because so many people had it on paper.
I think you would be surprised, even with the people that you know, even with your gang sign. I think you would be surprised.
Plenty of my friends have.
No, but I'm telling you, I think you might be surprised by how many people have done it but said they haven't.
What a weird thing to lie about. Like, because you're going to be accepted if you say that you have got it. Like, there's only something negative to gain from saying you haven't gotten it. Or you think they regret it and they have some kind of reaction.
But I also think this kind of explores the power of the social coercion that we're talking about, though, right? Like they would rather, particularly in your circles, for example, lie. And again, part of the 80% stat that I get it from, and why I say 80%, 80% of people are morons. That's about the right number of people that watch the news and believe it. Like they literally believe what they see, like relatively unquestionably. They'll put the news on, not necessarily CNN, because that's freaking crazy. The level of propaganda in your CNN is equivalent to some of the media outlets that we've got here. CNN is like way up there for you guys in regards to propaganda and it being a bit obvious. Like Don Lemon recently, never let it be said that they've got an agenda, right? But he's talking to this guy, I don't know if you saw it, about Storm Ian. And it's this expert guy who's, you know, he's like a meteorologist or somebody like that. And Don Lemon's like, this is definitely down to climate change, right?
And they were like, this
is climate change that's made this way. And this guy's like,
he's leading.
No, I'd rather not focus on that. Actually, you know, that may be something completely. But Don Lemon's like, yeah, but I came from this area. You know, and I know that it's definitely got worse. It's definitely got worse. Benny Johnson is quite a famous guy with you guys, isn't he? He's like a political commentator. I shared a stat on my Twitter about storms in your country, and he shared an interesting stat. And it was like back in the 1800s, within 10 years of like late 1800s to about, you know, up to 2010, 2020 or something like that, there was 19 storms recently and 19 storms within the same period in the 1800s. But it's climate change, you see, Chrissie. It's climate change.
I mean, it's always changing, isn't it?
It's a clever name, actually, isn't it?
Like the temperature is different each day due to climate change. It's like you can't argue with climate change. You can't argue with Black Lives Matter because it's describing something that happens.
I don't know about you, but I'm still worried. Like, I'm still worried about like the ice age that they said that we were going to have, and
it's due any minute now. Yeah,
and the acid rain, and what else? Global warming.
Oh yeah. The ice caps melting. It's gonna happen.
That's Al Gore special. That man bear pig.
Oh God, is this for real? Hot mic, no one fucks with Biden. This is from, I just looked up Benny Johnson.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for coming down. We appreciate it. I picked up there. No one fucks with Biden. Yeah, goddamn right.
Ew. No one fucks with
That's
Biden.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Ew, who even is that?
You know what? No one fucks with Biden apart from a switched off teleprompter.
But other than that, untouchable.
A switch off of the electric, Bush. Blackouts as well, caused by climate change, Chrissy. Yeah, that's what's going to fuck with Biden when the teleprompter can't even fucking switch on.
When they run out of butter pecan ice cream, that's going to fuck with him.
And when they run out of actors to put rubber masks on.
Yes, definitely. Oh, man. That's my favorite topic.
Acid rain, global warming, ice age. Do you quite another recent one? This was when I was a kid. They were terrifying us with this. The ozone layer. Do you remember that one?
Oh, I love all these. Yeah, the ice caps will be completely melted by 2015.
The ozone layer. That was the one that I remember.
Right. We couldn't use hairspray. We had to stop all hair products.
Well, I'm grateful that I am now clearly saving the planet. You know, not using hairspray, and haven't done for a while.
You're really doing your part by not needing any hairspray.
I'm doing my part, Chrissy. And
I want to talk about this. This is great. This is a crazy ass story. And I saw it was something you tweeted, and you're like, I think this is part of a deeper goal here. Satanic Temple sues states for infringing on religious abortion ritual. The Satanic Temple is suing Idaho and Indiana over their near total abortion bans, arguing that the laws violate religious freedoms. It's like they're literally using the same I guess excuse or reason that Catholics are using to get out of the jab for themselves to be able to still, like, they're literally just flipping it's on its head. And that's, I think, a lot of what Satanism is just switching around like Christianity, basically. The Satanic Temple, sometimes confused with the Church of Satan, does not worship the biblical Satan. Instead, the religious association venerates the allegorical Satan described in the epic poem Paradise Lost, the defender of personal sovereignty against the dictates of religious authority. So they're trying to make it sound like, oh, we're for individuality. We're almost like libertarian, I guess. According to 2 federal lawsuits filed in Indiana on September 22nd and Idaho on September 30th. In both lawsuits, attorney James McNaughton represents female members of the temple who are involuntarily pregnant. Oh, really? Because that's the thing, is like, if it actually is rape, that is not illegal. You can still get abortions if you have been raped. So this is kind of a non-issue. The view of the Satanic Temple is that a fetus is part of a woman's body. McNaughton told Newsweek, as such, she has absolute dominion and control over it and can dispose of it or keep it as she sees fit. Yuck.
There's certain stigmas that I don't think you can shake, or you're certainly going to find it a very difficult PR marketing campaign to do it. And one of those is anything associated with satanic. It's kind of got one of those stigma attached to it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like you say, in a very strange way, it's like they're almost trying to come across like, I know I'm called a rapist, but rape ain't really that bad. Yeah, I promise you that, right? You know, there's certain stigmas attached with certain things, and you know, anything, I suppose, relating to satanic certainly brings about thoughts that aren't necessarily for good. Are you religious?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, I was raised Christian. So I'm gonna say Christian still, but like the family I'm like marrying into is Catholic. But I went to a Jesuit college and would go to mass from time to time, and like, yeah, but grew up Protestant, confirmed. So I will say, final answer, Christian.
Let's go with Christian.
Yeah.
So I'm not religious per se. I say per se, I'm not religious. I know, again, in America, let's continue with the stereotypes. Let's just do it. I know in America, again, there's a high percentage of people that are religious, and I get it. I do get the faith side of things. I get it in regards to having belief, having faith. It's an incredibly powerful tool in whatever vessel that may be in, and many people find faith and belief in a channel of religion. So I do get that. The thing I'm cautious of, if you like, is again, like a lot of tools, control can be part of the coercion. Control can be part and used as a tool, and I'm always very cautious about things like that. And there's rabbit holes and things like that people tend to fall down with stuff like this, and the abortion and the satanic temple, or whatever they're called. It's a strange one, really. It's a strange one in the, what they're advocating is actually quite strange, really, isn't it?
Yes, it goes on to say restrictive laws also prevent members of the Satanic Temple from holding the satanic abortion ritual, which is fundamental to their religious beliefs, the lawsuits argued. This is so disgusting. The ritual, which includes the abortion itself, is designed to cast off the guilt and shame that may be imposed on a woman choosing an abortion, according to the temple. It's like, oh, how do we know if something has shame attached to it? Because it's wrong. Like, you wouldn't need to cast off shame if you were doing the right thing. During the ritual, the patient meditates and recites Tenet 3 and Tenet 5 of the Satanic Temple tenets. Tenet 3 says, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Tenet 5 says beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's belief. So this is basically like scientism, I think.
I can't remember what his name was. I think he's like a senator or a congressman or somebody like that. Mark something, it might be, but he kind of joked. Got a big reaction from it when he said that the type of women that you see outside, holding the banners up, advocating for particularly abortion and things like that, typically look a certain way. Huh? What did you just say?
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, they typically look.
I was saying the women that are the most pro-abortion are usually the least picky about the men that they choose.
There's that as well. And I on my Telegram as well, I've shared a couple of pictures of women holding these signs up. It's again the reason why we are screwed. Literally, the reason why we're screwed with subjects like this, typically, again, it's things like free speech, what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable, even with things like religion and the underpinning peace that should come with that. The reason why we're screwed as a species is because we lack such fucking common sense. We lack the ability to be able to common sense things out. And that's why I think we're seeing so much of what we are now, and why we're seeing so much of a conflict, because it's being propped up by media and state. These warped views are being propped up so much that now there's this big fight, if you like. And I notice in America as well, the divide and conquer. It is in every country. It is in my country as well. But in America, it's very clear. It's left wing, right wing. It's red or it's blue. It's Democrat, Republic, and these splits promote such divide and conquer in such an easy way.
Yeah.
Right, what are your views on Trump?
I think he's hilarious. I think he was a breath of fresh air. Probably of all the presidents in my lifetime, yeah, the one I think I probably liked the most. But again, it's like,
compared to Biden, right?
Like the age you're at, of course, it's like, the presidents would like. I didn't probably know very much about like George H. or George W. Bush because I was like younger and like not paying attention. but not a perfect guy, but like I think probably did the most good of any president that I can think of in my lifetime. But and interestingly, like the most hated, which means like he ruffled a lot of feathers, which speaks to his truly kind of most. I mean, people are really pissed at him about the jab stuff, and that I completely understand. I don't know, maybe he was like pressured into pushing it. I have no idea, but that is a good criticism because it seems like everything about him he would have maybe not forced people to get it. But you know what? He didn't force people to get it. He just basically
He
let it
advocated
happen.
for it, right? He
Yeah.
advocated for it, but he wasn't like
He wasn't gonna have anybody be fired over it. He wasn't gonna
yeah,
do a mandate.
right. I mean, look, for you know, he's very charismatic, and you know, I tend to judge people by character. I think it's a good trait to do that, whoever they are. Judging by character, very charismatic guy. In comparison to maybe going out for dinner with Biden, you know,
Well,
an
you'd have to
option.
feed him. You'd have to feed him his oatmeal.
Get the Biden bib out.
That would be a bummer. Yeah, it would be weekend
Put
at
the bib on.
Biden's.
Yeah, Biden. Yeah,
Okay, I'm just gonna read the rest of this. The temple also used religious freedom arguments in a similar lawsuit challenging the Texas abortion ban in January. Indiana became the first state to pass new legislation for an abortion ban after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, criminalizing abortions when they protect the life of the mother, when the fetus has a lethal abnormality, or when the pregnancy results from rape or incest. So this is already included. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, oh, pregnant against her will, like involuntary pregnancy. What the hell is that? Although the ban took effect on September 15th, it is currently blocked by a Monroe County special judge after a lawsuit filed by the ACLU of Indiana and abortion providers. I wonder if this article was just meant to make us feel a way.
But then again, like the issue with so much of this stuff as well, Chrissy, is like the actual report itself, how doctored it is, how true it is. You know, there's all this sort of stuff going on. You know, this is why you need to get the fact checkers on it, because you know when something's been fact checked, it's definitely true.
We need to have our own fact checkers.
We need our own fact checkers, but to get a choice between Biden and Trump and who you want to go out to dinner with, then clearly Trump. But the overriding thing for me, Chrissy, is the game's rigged, man. The game is rigged hard. Yeah, it's like the last couple of years, if it's taught me anything, overridingly, it's like this shit is the Matrix. Like it's a kind of strange combination of the Matrix and the Truman Show. Yeah, it's like I'll make a bit of a joke out of it. Some people, you know, they've mentioned it in the comments as well. They'll watch like Clown Planet, and part of my events, I call it Clown Planet, and the actual logo of it is a planet with a clown face on it. And there's many people that say the Earth ain't even round. Right? Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, I'm beginning to not disassociate and not believe many things, including stuff like that. And when you actually really start to pay attention, stuff like space, the solar system, the moon, stuff like that, you sometimes it's got a certain thing.
Hey, I've never been to space.
You never been?
No.
Do you want to go?
No. I think there's so many places I'd rather go first.
Hawaii?
I went to Hawaii when I was like 14.
Where you want to go? What's your geographical ambition?
I'd like to go back to Italy. Greece would be nice. I would like to go to like maybe the countries where my family hail from. So like a Norway or a Germany, I think would be cool.
Have you watched the Vikings?
No.
Man, you got to watch that stuff, right? So you know the Vikings, they come from Norway, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a series called Vikings. I'm watching it again. It's so good. It's so good. I love the series Vikings. It's absolutely amazing. It's because stuff on TV is generally so shit, and I tend not to watch TV. It's such an indoctrination box. So when I find something that I actually enjoy, I tend to watch it over and over again. Vikings If you like that sort of Scandinavia, that sort of
Yeah,
side of
I like
things, you're going to
beards.
enjoy that. You
When
like?
did you start comedy?
I'm only just starting stand up. I'm only just starting it. So do I run the other way now, Chrissy, or what?
Do you run the other way?
As in, I'm only just on that path of starting
Okay.
stand up. So
So
I've
how
done,
did you started first by doing YouTube and like
yeah,
did you do
yeah,
anything like in between, or like what got you into creating content?
literally the you know, there I was about 3 years ago. You can kind of put the timescales together, right? About 3 years ago, I'm minding my own business. You know, I'm a coach. I used to help people with things like anxiety and stress, which is pointing in the right direction.
Can you help me with anxiety and stress?
What do you need help with?
Not having anxiety.
Not
Well,
having
stress, I
anxiety.
can
Well, I can help you immediately, which is the good news.
stop caring so much. I feel like that's the answer.
Partly, but the message that you're telling yourself is wrong. Immediately, I can tell that.
Okay.
So what you just said is, can you help me stop having stress, stop having anxiety? You can't stop having it.
Right, because that's life.
Right? You don't want to stop having it. And I know that, again, this sounds really basic. What I want to come back to is the thing that I mentioned earlier, about the fact that we're all driven by what other people are thinking. And just take a step back. Everyone just take a step back and think about how much of your actions, how much of your thoughts, everything that you do from day to day is driven by the worry about what people are thinking. And when you're able to step back a little bit and really, really contemplate just how much that encapsulates your life, if you decide to then do something about it, i.e., just the first step is to become a bit more aware of it, then you can start to do something about it. The key to stress, the key to anxiety, if you really want that golden nugget, because of course it's a big subject, if you really want that golden nugget, everything evolves around you worrying about what other people are thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
What
So
about
when it,
like thinking that you're behind all the time? Like you every day goes by and you didn't get done what you should have got done, and then that goes on forever. Like,
but
what if you're
so
settled
so
with that?
so why is that a bad thing?
Being hard on yourself, I think, is a bad thing, and I think I'm like super hard on myself
It,
because
it,
every
it
day I'm
is.
like, I should have done this, should have done this, should have done this. This is overdue. I've been putting this off.
But you know, a key part of that is just bad time management as much as anything else. But that's boring. Let's go with the fruitier stuff, right? Let's
No,
go with the
that's
fruitier
true.
stuff,
That's
right?
probably like that's probably the answer.
There is that, but the overriding thing with what you've just said there is the story that we're telling ourselves. Like you would rather be busy than feel like you haven't done anything at all. Because what you're saying is you are busy, you're getting things done, but then you don't feel like you're doing enough,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that you are doing stuff, which means that you're already many steps ahead of somebody who's doing fuck all. So
I
it's
just
the
can't
story.
afford to fuck all. Like, I don't want to be a drag. Like, I don't want to be somebody else's I guess, what would you call it? Like, I don't know.
The biggest question
Independent,
is, what are you comparing yourself to? You know, that's again, that's the
Okay.
key,
Really
right?
nobody directly. Because I know you're supposed to just compare yourself to like who you were 6 months, a year ago, etc.
But that's just lying to ourselves, right? We need to cut through the bullshit. We need to cut through the bollocks, Chrissy, because we do lie to ourselves. We lie to ourselves more so than anybody else. So when we cut through the actual bollocks, there is always someone or people that we're comparing ourselves to, and it will always be somebody relatively directly to us in our lives. And what we'll always do is we'll compare ourselves, and then the reality is that they might not even be as good as we believe they are at the thing that we are wanting to be better at. This again is all part of the lie. But we're constantly comparing ourselves, which means that we naturally start being then hard on ourselves because we're trying to keep up in certain ways, but all the time lying to ourselves. That you are, no matter how much you believe you're not doing that, you're definitely doing it. Definitely. We all do it.
Okay.
It's just the natural, it's
So
just the
once you
natural
figure out-
hierarchy.
So once you, I guess, figure out who you're comparing yourself to, then what?
Once you realize, the first step is self-awareness of you actually doing it, because that is the most powerful step in anything. How are you going to change something if you don't know what's wrong? How are you going to change anything if you're not willing to identify what it could be? It definitely is always worrying about what people think. It's definitely something related to somebody else. And I'll give you an example of this, really important. Have you seen that film 28 Days Later?
What is that about?
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm thinking of Bird Box.
It is kind of similar to that, in a kind of genre like that. 28 Days Later is it's where the guy, I think it's an English film actually, it's where he wakes up in a hospital bed and it's like an apocalypse, like nobody is about. He wakes up, he's the only person, and he goes out on the London road, and there's literally nobody there.
Okay.
Right?
Maybe I've seen it. Okay.
Right? Think about if that happened to you tomorrow. Think about how different your life would be.
Wait, there's no dogs? Nothing?
Nothing. There's no dogs, there's no people, there's no nothing. When we put that into a frame and we start to think about how different our lives would be if nobody else was about, how different would your thoughts be?
Then you go just into survival mode. Where do I get food? Where do I get shelter?
And then it becomes,
where am I going to charge my phone?
And then it becomes then it becomes a whole lot less about meeting other people's expectations. It becomes a whole lot less about worrying about what that person is saying or doing, or what you should be or what you shouldn't be doing, because you, like you say, of course, in that scenario, it's an extreme one, it's survival mode. But if you adopted a little bit more of that into your daily life right now, how different would your life be in regards to worrying about what other people are thinking? How different might your decisions be?
I don't feel like I'm really comparing myself to anyone, though. There might be like small pieces that I can admire a performer's social media presence, and I feel like the people that I admire, I ultimately learn from, because you go, what are they doing right? How can I implement that? But that's not something that makes me feel bad about myself. It's just you look around and see what people are doing.
You're layered with the lie, right? You've been.
What am I lying about? Tell me what I've said that's true and what I've said that's false.
The lie is about the structure of other people in our lives and how much that plays a part. The more confident, the more self-belief we have, the more driven we are, the more we go in a certain direction, the less we believe we're driven by other people and what they're thinking. And what that tends to do is it masks it even more, and we layer that, and then we build a whole belief about it, when the reality is it's not like that at all. And that's when it starts to plague us more subconsciously, because it's playing at us and we're not conscious about it. So then we're like, I'm not really bothered about what that person thinks. I'm not really bothered about what they're doing. I'm not really bothered about this, not really bothered about that. So then why do we put filters on Instagram? Why do we then have these thoughts of like, what car do I drive? Why do we then have these thoughts of like,
I think the filter thing is people, they see themselves a certain way. Sure, some of it's vanity, but I think part of it is like people see themselves looking a certain way. And when they have a photo that is, I think it's, in a sense, it's vanity or self-centeredness. It's like when you see a photo, it's like, oh, there's this bulge or there's this. It's like, this picture is not the ideal of what I see myself as. That's where the desire to make those corrections come from.
And what is that based on is the point. So is that based on ourselves, or is that based on the expectation of society, on what we should look like, on other Instagram pictures,
Or what you
on other
want to look like.
people?
Like, if you're someone who just gave birth and you're like, "Oh, man, like, I'm normally in such better shape. I'm gonna get back there. In the meantime, I'm just gonna filter this." Yeah, I don't know. I guess probably everyone's a little different.
It's an energy thing as well, right? Have you met those people that they can look in many different ways, right? But they just exude a certain energy, a certain confidence about them. They just, there's that genuineness that, like, they can look like shit, or or they could, be 4 foot or 7 foot or this big or that big, and they still exude a confidence that is it's like an energy thing. What's that about? For me, what I believe a lot of that is, and that energy and that true genuine self-confidence, I think they've been on a journey, a self-awareness journey of appreciating, I can't worry about what that person is thinking. I can't live in that, because if I do, I'm just going to suffer. I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to have stress. I'm going to have all these problems if I stay in that zone of thinking that I need to meet other people's expectations and approval. I know that that's going to be part of what I'm going to do and need to do, but I want to do it for the right reasons. What are those reasons? Those reasons are typically things to do with you.
Interesting.
Your question was, how do I get into comedy?
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
So about 3 years ago, I started seeing these people wearing surgical masks in the street. And like I said to you, there I was, coaching anxiety, stress, stuff like that, and writing books and things like that. And it just fried my mind. And then I started doing some videos, and I was like, you've got a couple of choices here. You could literally go mental, and allow all that sort of stuff to pile on top of you, and just let the whole thing just like be like, what the fuck? Or you can laugh at it. And I decided to kind of do both, but mostly try and do the latter. So it was laughing at it, and then going on that journey of being able to let go, not suffer as much because of that, because that's part of it as well, is being able to let go. And comedy, I think, is one of the best tools to do that. And you obviously, you do stand up and things like that. So what do you get from stand up?
Ooh, okay. It feels so real. It's you feel like the most alive when you're with a crowd, and you feel so connected, and like the more in touch you are with the present moment, the better you do. And I think the practice of that is like a really nice practice for life. Like, just forces you to be present, to listen to them. Like, of course you're there to entertain them, and like part of what I love is like you can help maybe make them forget about their day and their problems because you're making fun of yourself, or you can make somebody feel not so bad about whatever shit's going on with them. But it is that kind of like, to say that comedy is not like an egotistical pursuit would be like a lie. Obviously, like, the attention is great. Getting a room full of people to laugh at you is great, but it is kind of like, it is cool to be like, oh wow, it's a way for people to kind of like share in a truth. And it feels nice to, after the show, leave and be like, oh wow, like people who came to the show are now friends with each other, and then that kind of, those bonds continue after you leave that town. So that feels pretty cool, because there's so much going on right now to keep us separate and disconnected. So it's like, to be part of something that connects people feels really cool, and not something that like is so serious, just the having fun
Would you
part of
class
it.
yourself as a people pleaser?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you're comfortable with that?
Oh yeah, I'm very aware of it. Like, I've been working on it over the years, and so the aspects of it that like were bad for me, I'm much better on. But yeah, it's like, it's always there. It's like,
Because what's
that's like the training is there, from your
Because that's quite
upbringing.
interesting, the fact that you're happy with that, because a lot of people, when they get into things like stand up, they'll say, oh, I'm not a people pleaser at all. And yet things like stand-up comedy that's precisely what it is. It's pleasing people, isn't it? If you're not pleasing people, you're not doing your job properly. So the fact that you recognize that in itself is a really, really key thing. It's an amazing thing, because if you do recognize that, then it means that you are so much further ahead with other things in regards to getting things done and dealing with things like stress and anxiety and getting things done. It just requires a few tweaks with some of the other bits of the story that you're telling yourself.
True. That's so true. It's all about the story you tell yourself, man.
Where's that ditty? Where's that ditty, Chrissy? We've got all serious.
Oh, the ditty. Done.
Is that easy to put on? We need to shake off some of the seriousness.
Nope. Is it this one? Nope. No.
They all sound good.
It's this one. Everybody go to Carl Vernon's website, buy his books, buy Surrounded by Morons on Amazon.co.uk or Audible.
See, I like that ditty as well, because I mean, I suppose there's a little bit of kind of self-helpiness about it too, huh?
It does sound like a self-help song.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, hey man, now I feel vibrant, man. You know, ready to kind of step out. I'm trying to do this with music in a minute, and I'm ready to step out into the world. That kind of worked, huh?
This is like a budget. Oh, what's his face? The fucking self-help guy with the big head. I can't remember his name.
Tony Robbins.
This is Wish.com. Tony Robbins is right now. Carl, where can people find you?
They can search. What I really want them to do is find themselves first.
Okay, but what if we don't have time for that?
But after that, once they've found themselves, let's go to the fucking website, carlvernon.com, innit?
Go to YouTube, Getter, Odyssey, and Rumble at Carl Vernon on Twitter.
It's like you said, Chrissy. You said you're not even subscribed to the channel.
Not until today.
Many people ain't subscribed yet, but they still watching a lot of the content. Listen, motherfuckers. Hit that subscribe button, motherfucker.
Get with it, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
This is great. We should have had this playing the whole time. Okay.
There's a flow about that. There's a certain flow.
Nice.
I think that music is possibly more powerful than you think.
Music is important. Sometimes I'll go like weeks or months and be like, oh yeah, I haven't listened to any music, because I just feel like it's like a treat, or it's like I haven't gotten enough done to like listen to music or read a fun book that I don't like need for a project or something.
It's so true. You know, we have to remind ourselves, why is it we do that? Why is it, you know, when we find something that we like, we do something that we like, we then don't do it again. I'm not talking about raping and shit.
Yeah, and addicts don't have that problem.
Yeah, you know, like no, I like a bit of that. No. Why do we do that? You know, we'll listen to a bit of music and we'll do it, and we'll be like, that was actually really good, and then we won't do it again for a long time. I just think we forget. I think we forget. I think we forget the impact that something like listening to a bit of music can actually, you know, statistically, you know, I think it's something like 70% of people listen to music to change their mood. And it really does have the power to do that, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think a lot, maybe, who knows? Maybe this is just projection, but I know why I don't do the things I like to do, because I feel like there's like more important things that are supposed to come first. Like I need to prioritize better. Like I don't deserve fun. I have work to do.
I like this Good Night Mister in the
Oh
comments.
yeah, he's my homie.
Yeah, I like this dude. Yeah, he's pimping my shit out. He's like, go to Clown Planet Live, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the, there we go. Yeah, so that's the event. So like when you're saying about comedy and stuff like that. So naturally, from the videos and things, I'm just starting stand up and doing some events. I'm taking Clown Planet live on
Nice.
steroids on the stage, and some of the clips and stuff that you shared, I'm going to be doing that on the stage and doing a bit of stand up and having a bit of a get together and doing a bit of a party.
That sounds great. An interactive.
It is,
different
yeah.
kind
It's
of
like
show.
full big stage, like cinema screen, just playing some crazy shit of what's been going on in the past few years, and just playing it out, and then putting some music on after, and having a few drinks and having a chat. And this is coming from somebody who would much prefer to put. Do you use the term jogging bottoms?
Jogging buttons?
Bottoms.
Bottoms? You
Jogging
mean
bottoms.
sweatpants?
Yeah, that's what you mean. Sweatpants? you mean sweatpants, Carl?
Is that what I sound like? Wow, I'm gonna kill myself.
Hey, listen, give me a budget, Tony fucking Robbins, motherfucker.
Sweatpants, yoga pants. You mean sweatpants?
Jogging bottom. You mean sweatpants?
Jogging bottom sounds gay as hell. Jogging bottoms.
Jogging bottoms, mate.
Jogging bottoms.
Yeah, jogging
when
bottoms.
I was in jail, I had nothing but jogging bottoms.
Well, it was better than having sweatpants.
Sweatpants.
So yeah, sweatpants. Coming from somebody who would much rather put sweatpants on and get a takeaway and just chill out, sit at home, I think it's so important to be able to get out there.
Put on real pants every once in a while.
Put some jeans on, perhaps. Yeah, that, like really make the effort, huh?
Yeah.
And
if they don't fit, get your shit together.
Don't fit, get your shit together, because of course what people think matters.
Also, how you feel about yourself matters.
Yeah, I'm taking a piss with that last comment. I mean, it will. What people think will always matter. It's always going to dictate our lives in some form or another. But being able to laugh at ourselves, being able to just have a bit of banter, get together with like-minded people, it's so important that we don't lose that, because I really do think that they want it lost. And the more we allow it to be lost, the ability to joke, the ability to laugh at ourselves.
Right, because it takes power away from somebody whenever you mock someone or make fun of something. Take the piss out of it.
That was still quite American. Have another go. Because it was a very English thing to say, what you just did. Was that an effort, an English accent?
That was an effort. Yeah, I won't do it again. I'm just gonna keep saying sweatpants.
Take the piss out of it. Which is this is very, very English saying. I'm very impressed. Well, that's one thing I'm very impressed with, particularly with our American friends, is how much you do know about what goes on over here in regards to our accent and some of the things that we say. Is it because it's on TV and shit?
Probably. Also, it's like a cute little culture. It's like fun. There's catchphrases.
That sounds a bit patronizing.
Memorable.
I mean, I'd say that sounds fucking incredibly patronizing, actually.
No, it's like, it's cute. It's fun. It's different.
You cute little motherfuckers with your motherfucking sweatpants.
Sweatpants
on your ditty little bitty fucking island.
Wow. It's an island? I guess so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I would imagine is the definition of an island is being surrounded by sea. No.
Yeah, you're like what I would be if my people never came to this country, I guess. No, that's a lie. I probably would be in Germany or Norway, or I'd be a totally different person. Wow, life is crazy.
We are a little bitty island, although I'm not sure how much we should accept in regards to what we're taught map wise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like here's the globe, right? And
if it is round.
Whoa! You crazy motherfucker, you!
Sweatpants!
I love doing that accent.
It's my new catchphrase.
Do you know what? I actually really do enjoy doing that motherfucking accent. Listen, I'll entertain many a theory. Flat Earth in particular. That's a good one. That's a good one, because I tell you what, they really don't like that one. So they've really put a lot of stigma on that one.
Which is what makes me want to pay attention to it.
In your sweatpants or out of it?
Because I'm currently wearing sweatpants.
Whoa! So
more like leggings, I guess.
I'd entertain most theories, any theories, to the point where I don't think any of this shit is real. I think we're on maybe. Hang on a minute. It was you Brits are on a tiny little cute island of slappers.
What's a slapper?
I swear to God, right? I reckon what some of these mofos are doing here, Chrissy. Do you know what they're doing, right?
No.
They're going on Google and they're typing in like English slang swear words, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing, because we're getting all sorts here. And slappers. That's a good one. You heard of that one? You heard of slappers?
No. Sounds like a bar.
It should be. I'll tell you what, it should be a bar. That would go down a treat in this country. If you named a bar slappers in this country, right? You know what it basically means? Do you know what? You use the term slag?
Slag?
Oh, really? You don't?
No.
Oh, my God. What would you use? It's like a lady who's easy.
Oh, a slut?
Slut.
A slut.
Slut, yeah. Yeah. So a slapper is like that, and a slag is pretty much on that theme as well. It's basically a slut. So if you called your bar slappers,
like sluts, yeah,
it's pretty much the equivalent, right, of my jogging bottoms and slappers with your sluts and what was it?
Sluts and sweatpants.
Sweatpants, sluts and sweatpants. How good is that name, Chrissy? I'll tell you what, you need to get that one.
Let's do it.
Sluts and sweatpants. That
was basically the pandemic. I mean, it was OnlyFans and sweatpants.
I'm telling you now, right? That is fucking good, right? And you rarely come across something where you think that shit needs trademarking.
We need a collab. We're gonna get on it.
Sluts and sweatpants. And then you've got over here, we could do like the franchise, keep it going, keep it rocking globally. Sluts and sweatpants, slappers and jogging bottoms.
That sounds funnier.
And then maybe like, in each and every country, it would have its own franchise. So you'd take whatever their meaning is and they could have that.
Slappers also is a great name for a comedy club. Because there's a Flappers already. There's a Flappers?
Yeah, in Florida.
In Florida? All right. I'll have to go there.
There's a Slappers
There is in Florida.
There's a Slappers already in your country. That's amazing. I'll
have to find a new dream now.
Someone put slags in sweatpants.
Slags.
Slags in sweatpants. That also works. We've got some good ones coming in here. Slappers, Slagland.
Oh, a knee slapper.
Knee slappers. Sounds a bit like a lady of the night.
Like a dwarf. That's like a very short slut. All right. Okay. I have to wrap this up. I have another thing. But Carl, you're a delight. I will definitely have you back. Everybody follow Carl. Sorry for the abrupt ending. I just lost track of time. You're a delight. Thank you to the chat for your sweatpants in comments and questions. Sweatpants. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.